Good evening. Hi, everybody make some noise like we're in.
Yeah.
Hello.
Welcome to the 25th Annual Eugene Laff Off. Probably the only comedy competition where you're not sure whether the audience and or the comedians are wearing pants. But look at this fabulous curtain. Doesn't this not look like a wonderful comedy club with my tiny little sign taped to my bed sheet behind me, hung from a piece of string? And in the green room, I have Murray chewing on a greenie. So it's all very much like a traditional comedy show. So some of you may know that last year would have officially been the 25th anniversary of the Eugene Laff Off, but something came up. I don't remember what it was. It's a little thing, put everything off. But you know, we're not going to let a worldwide pandemic keep comedy down for more than 12 months, 4 days and 57 minutes. Not that I'm counting from the was supposed to. So if I look a little different than the last time you saw me, I have put on the COVID weight, 2 pounds. If you count in dog math, which I do now because I have spent so much time with my canine units that I do everything in dog. I'm pretty sure that once we're out on the street and I'm actually able to get close to people, the first thing I'm going to say is, "Who's a good boy? Can I pet your belly?" Actually, I'm lucky that I remembered that tonight was the event because I decided at the end of 2020 not to get a 2021 calendar because I figured it was kind of useless. I've been keeping all my appointments on a stack of cocktail napkins. So not that I drink. I don't want you to get the idea that I'm a big drinker. When you take a bowl of cherries and you pour amaretto over them every night, that's not drinking, that's eating officially. And amaretto is made from almonds, which is part of your 5 nuts and seed group, and it's full of protein. I have discovered during the pandemic that even though I've always thought I was a little bit of an introvert, it turns out I'm not an in all the damn time trovert. That is. Oh my God, can I tell you? And I've done all the things. I baked the sourdough bread. I baked the banana bread. I baked the funny brownies. I did all the baking. I learned a new language. I learned ferret online. I figure I'm much more likely to have a long-term relationship with a ferret than with a human, so I might as well be. Oops, let Sasha in. The dogs and I have been practicing obedience. They have taught me how to sit, stay, and put them in the will. I lie about that last part. They were already in the will. You find yourself doing the weirdest things. I wanted to send an email. Yes, I'm old enough to send emails. Send an email to Words with Friends and insist that they allow profanity to be included as words.
Yes.
Especially when we're in these situations we're in. I drew a to scale map of all the places I have been in my house. I've been cutting my own hair for 10 months. I was trying for Miley Cyrus, and at one point I got her dad. It's like Zoom in the front and Bad Country Party from the 80s in the back. You do not want to know what's going on back there. And soon I'm planning on doing my own mammogram with 2 cookie sheets and a laser pointer. No. So I'm going to get us moving on with the show. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for laughing. Let me just, first of all, I want to thank everybody and remind you that this is a benefit for, as you can see on the bottom of my huge sign, for Greenhill Humane Society. And let me just tell you, as somebody who, until I had to stop volunteering until I could get my shots, thank you. Somebody said Greenhill rocks. they have done a most amazing job in the last year, especially after the fires, especially considering that all the protocols had to change, and never missed a step in doing right for the community. So if you haven't already done so, you can go to the Facebook page, 25th Annual Eugene Laff Off, and make a donation there, or you can just type in Green Hill Humane Society, and there will be a donate box there on the icon menu, and you can choose that too, and we would really appreciate your donation for that. Let's see. Oh, and I also want to give a quick shout out to Actors Cabaret, who had been our host for the Laff Off for the past 24 events, and have always donated that space for us. And I'm hoping that next year we can be back in that space. But if you have an opportunity to thank the Actors Cabaret or buy a ticket as soon as they have tickets on sale for an event, I'm sure that they would love that. Okay, let me explain a little bit about how this is going to work tonight. I asked all of the comedians who are performing tonight to videotape themselves doing comedy, and I suggested that they could do that in any way they wanted, because we have new technology at our disposal. We're not necessarily confined to a microphone and a stage, and so you're going to see a whole bunch of interesting things that you would not have been able to see if we were doing the Laff Off as we typically do. So one of the things I would like the judges to consider when you're thinking of the people that you would like to put in first, second, and third place is, are there people who did something new and unique that you thought was really funny and interesting at the same time? We do have judges here tonight, and I'm going to introduce our judges. We have Liz and Riley together again in somebody's house. Hey. We have Dr. Dr. King Silky Booker. I'm being attacked by a small, not Green Hill graduate, but graduate from another rescue, Murray the dog. Give it up for King Silky.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
We have Tom Overly, who I don't think has missed a judging for like 20 years, right?
That's 120 in dog years, yeah.
Let's see. We have Carrie Lieberman. We have Carrie Lieberman, the director of Green Hill Humane Society. There he is.
Thank you for having me.
And we have Slug Goddess Slimeshine, the only 2-year reigning slug queen ever.
Yay!
And I want to introduce the person without whom none of this would have happened tonight, Kiki Protzman, who put together all of the video, who also produced the little promo that we did with Rudy Tyberzi, who will be your featured performer tonight, your headlining performer tonight, I should say. So give it up for Kiki.
Yay, Kiki.
All right, so here's the suggestions for those of you in the audience. When you find somebody funny, laugh out loud, because we cannot hear those silent laughs. The ones that are out loud are the best kind. And if you have somebody you're really supporting and you want to laugh a little harder for them, there's nobody who can stop you from doing that. Okay, at this point, I'm going to admit this one last person, and now I am going to go down this list and find, oh my God, there's so many things. I have to find Laff Off video. I'm going to make that the host, and we're going to turn that video on. So we're making that the host. This is the part where Leanne's brain goes. Are you the host, Kate? There we go. All right, enjoy the show.
Hey everyone, I'm Magdalena. Most comedians are pretty rusty right now, but I might be the rustiest of all. Like a long-lost tool submerged in the ocean for over 20 years, finally bobbing to the surface. I haven't performed since I was a teenager, but back then I covered many relevant at the time and now outdated topics, such as MTV News, and overzealous lusting for Conan O'Brien, and my virginity. Let's fast forward now and jump on the amphibious life vehicle of the short distance long term relationship I have with myself to the near apocalypse, late stage capitalism, midlife existential crisis period. A journey to a rogue land where I haven't had my hair professionally cut or colored since 2019, but the stress craze are really blending out my roots. A foray into a chasm of self care to maintain sanity, which in actuality is just doing kegels and watching Love and Hip Hop. A all-terrain tour of Magdalena, a no-filter selfie of my very soul, like the nudiest nude photo. No bones, organs, skin, or even human form. I keep it transparent. Entertainment is slim these days. Tried watching a show recommended by Men's Health magazine, but didn't really like it. Maybe it's because I'm not a man. Or healthy. I had liver failure in 2014 and had to quit drinking. Interestingly enough, the liver is the only organ that can regenerate itself. If only other things could regenerate, like my boyfriend when we're not getting along. Can I just clone you and try again? This all inspired me to diversify my drinks. I started drinking tea for its health benefits, but also enjoyed the feeling of classiness and refinement I experienced as a result of drinking such an adult beverage. But it's not really the most adult, is it? I think we go through phases. Milk, pop, alcohol, coffee, tea, Ensure. I'm getting further on this drink trajectory. I am straight up in the sunset of my life, liquids-wise. Decided to treat myself and went shopping for a smoothie blender online. I found one called the Magic Bullet. Apparently, there's also a line of adult sex toys with the same name. All these options made me feel conflicted on how to treat myself. I just went with the blender one, but sometimes I think about what could have been. But juicy smoothie. I've been getting headaches directly on my third eye. Maybe it's because I've seen too much of life, or maybe it's these fake lashes. They can be tedious and time-consuming. And they're also kind of like constant cardio training for your eyelids. Exercise nobody asked for, but hey, my blinks are strong. I try to look nice, preening like a brightly feathered but non-aerodynamic bird. Is this an economical use of time when the only one who sees me regularly is a squirrel I feed to feel like Cinderella? Yes. I'm 5'11" and used to wish I was smaller framed. Like one of those tall and skinny San Francisco houses where half the square footage is just up. I saw a new doctor on Zoom recently and thought it went pretty well until I read the aftercare summary online. A very pleasant, alert, new to me 39-year-old female who is well developed. I want to think he meant my personality, but I've been having trouble sleeping lately. I have a hard time getting cozy and noise is an issue. If only there was some kind of soundproof, cozy bed zone capsule option. I guess like a coffin, but with an emergency escape button in case I do wake up in the morning. Ended up getting one of those expanding gel memory foam mattresses, but the only thing it remembers is not to leave my ass any cushioning. If I wanted my hips to be directly on wooden bars, I would just live horizontally, napping on sides of fences. I finally had a sweet delta sleep the other night and had an amazing dream. I was frolicking through a beautiful forest in the rain. It was so vivid I could feel the raindrops on my skin. I woke up and I could still feel raindrops on my skin. Apparently, the ceiling had puffed up on me in the night and started dripping a milky-looking liquid plaster all over me, as if existence itself had commissioned I'd be gooshed on by a ceiling cooch. No biggie, just like literally caving in on me. It's the bottom story, too. There's another floor above this with no damage. What is the takeaway here? Am I luring water to me on a molecular level like a missing the bog lake spirit? Is it because I'm a Pisces? Honestly, this ceiling is the only thing that cries more than me, and it's showing as much wear and tear as this middle-aged spacesuit I call a body. I hope you've enjoyed this journey day, Magdalena. You may return your chairs to their upright positions, and please exit the amphibious life vehicle in a calm, orderly fashion. Also, don't forget to watch your heads and keep looking up, because you never know when the ceiling might come down on you with the wrong kind of juicy smoothie.
Hey everybody, thank you for allowing me to be on the laugh track of Eugene. My name is Marcus Tyrell. I'm a comedian that's been doing comedy here in Eugene for about 5 years now. I would like to start out saying that I asked a friend the other day how they best describe me. They said I look like a more fuckable version of Sloth from the Goonies. Thank you very much. I bought a DVD porno the other day. It was really weird. The first 30 seconds of it was a black screen and a fat guy holding his dong. Turns out I forgot to turn the TV on. Just recently, I was admitted into the hospital. Nothing too serious. The doctor, pretty much when I came in, just looked at me and said, "Oh, back again, I see." The other day, they were taking my blood and everything like that, and they had me hooked up to a machine. They were trying to see if they could hear the sounds of my heart. Unfortunately, when they had me hooked up to the machine, I was just making sounds of a starting car, just going vroom, vroom. Eventually, they pulled everything off, and I just went click, click, click. A little bit about myself. The other day, a little bit about myself. Back in the day, I was in a band. People asked me, Marcus, what got you into comedy? I said, well, the band broke up. Then they asked me, well, Marcus, what was your band called? And I said, well, Marcus can't hit a G chord. And they go, Marcus, why did your girlfriend break up with you? And I go, Marcus couldn't find the G spot. The other day, I live up in Washington now. I have a roommate, which is an interesting situation. My roommate is unemployed, but I knew that getting into the roommate agreement. It used to be in the beginning, it was a great thing. I'd always be happy, that my roommate would get a job. Now I'm just, waiting for the day that he falls down the stairs and I try not to laugh. The other day, a couple of years ago, my dad had passed away from cancer. It's not a funny thing to laugh about cancer, but the other day, a couple of years ago, my dad passed away from cancer. I'll never forget the last thing he said to me when he was in the hospital. It was the most inspiring thing, we heard as a family. It was me, my entire family gathered around, and as I'm in the hospital, I'm holding his hands, and I'll never forget what he said. He looks up to me and he goes, "Stop holding my hand, this is gay." Which, not a lot of people laugh at that joke, but my dad would be rolling in his grave at that joke. Fortunately, we cremated him, so I guess he'll just be blowing in the winds. I remember when I was a kid, my dad used to always tell me would always come and he'd always hear this strange noise coming from my room. I remember one day he busted open the door in my room and looked at me and go, "Marcus, stop masturbating. It'll make you blind." I go, "Dad, I'm over here." A couple years ago, when I found out my dad had cancer, I bought him weed for the very first time. Actually, I bought weed for the very first time. I was extremely excited about it because it was my first time ever buying weed, and I'll never forget it. I went to the weed shop, or as some people like to call it, the Walmart, and I go up to the counter, and I'm looking around, and the guy at the counter looks up at me and he goes, "Hey man, what can I get you?" I go, "Weed. What else do you think I'm here?" And the guy goes, "Okay, what kind do you want?" He's like, "I have no idea, you tell me." Like, "All right, we got the Berry White, we got the Gorilla Glue." I was like, "Let's go with the Berry White. I don't want the Gorilla Glue. I don't want my dad sticking around." So he pulls down the Gorilla Glue, and I hand him a $20 bill. I hand it open, my fan's open, and then my hand closed like this. And the guy goes, "Are you trying to buy weed? Or are you trying to jerk me off right now?" "No, I'm just trying to buy weed." And he goes, "All right." Hands me back my receipt and hands me his business card. And he goes, "By the way, my name's Carl. You want to get jerked off, meet me in the back in 5 minutes." So that's how I met Carl. It's also why I have a lazy eye. All right, you guys, I'm Marcus Tyrell. Thank you very much. You have a great rest of the night.
Hi there. I'm Dr. Bethany Grace Howe, the leader of the Oregon Society of Emergency Services Humorists. You may remember us from the Chick-fil-A Pride riots of 2019, or the refugee crisis at the California border when people fleeing the Bay Area drove the price of a Tough Shed in Portland to over $100,000. We're here because in the midst of crisis, people need to find humor. We do that in several ways. First, we like to wear rainbow hiking boots. And that way, whether we're standing in shit, metaphorical or lyrical, we can radiate sunshine wherever we go. Now, you may be wondering, what value does an emergency services humorist have? Well, take for instance, this bar. When patrons argued that they didn't need to wear a mask because they'd had their temperature taken at the door, we agreed. We simply suggested the bar switch over to rectal thermometers. That's right, the guests got the point. Now, one of the things about Oregon that makes us special is that we deal with disaster in a atypical way. We're the people that created Oregon Trail. We're the generation that grew up knowing that no matter what choices you make, no matter what you do, you're probably going to die of dysentery, alone, and more than likely, not only not having toilet paper, but having to use a rock or some type of leafy stick. Now, one of the great things about being an Oregonian is that we started disaster planning long time ago. That's why we have marijuana dispensaries approximately every 13 feet. Who needs a 12-step program when you can get what you need every 6 feet? Now, as we move into the 13th month of a one-year series of disasters, there's a few things we'd like you to know. Because in the wake of the Oregon fires, the most devastating week in Oregon history, we learned a lot of things. First of all, that despite the fact that 6 billion people on the planet Earth, starting with Benjamin Franklin, understand that wind and electricity have poor outcomes, we lost thousands of homes and many lives to disaster and fire. But in the wake of those disasters and fires, we also learned that Oregonians are giving. And by giving, we mean they give us every single thing in their garage, their home, and even the cup holders in their car that they haven't cleaned since 2014. Now, we're not saying that those things don't have value, okay? But even when people have lost everything they own, they don't necessarily need a velour fluorescent painting of Duran Duran from 1985. It's touching, but maybe not. Now, let's talk about some other things that people donate that maybe weren't such a great idea. For instance, here, it's a singular set of dishes. It's something that says, not only did you lose everything, but you don't have any friends, and when people come over, the only people you need to serve are you. That's not okay. Also, one of the things that we occasionally get, and I'm not making this up, is used lingerie. Okay? Just no. And also, one of my personal favorites, we get unmarked cans. We have no idea what's in here. What if you're a pescatarian and it's cow? What if you're a vegetarian and it's meat? What if you're a libertarian and it's government cheese? Any of these could kill someone. So I'm here to ask that as you continue to donate and as you continue to help, that you think about what it is that you're giving. Because while we appreciate it, it's not always necessary. Now, at this point, you may be asking yourself, what can you do? Well, again, no used underwear, okay? I love NASCAR, you love NASCAR, but none of us love skid marks, okay? Not there. So let's not do that again. But what can you do? Yes, we're doing our best. When we say FEMA, we know it's an F word. We didn't plan it that way, but it works. But that's not the point. 6 months after the most horrific disaster that Oregon has ever seen, most Oregonians have moved on. Their garages are empty, their toilet paper holders are full, and the power company is offering free plants to homeowners who lost everything. I'm not making that up. And while I can laugh about it, and you can laugh about it, please remember that people are still in need. They need help. So when you can, open your wallets, give your time, and for God's sakes, please make sure the only clothes you bring are the ones you're wearing. Unless, of course, you're wearing rainbow hiking boots. You can never have too many of those. Thank you.
Bye.
Yay!
And seriously, don't come naked. Okay, really, wear those clothes. No, oh my God.
I used to live in a dry cabin in Alaska. Way off the grid, way off. And, like, let me tell you, that was not so different than living now in Oregon 2020 during the pandemic. It's like the same, you know, because back then, all that mattered was your chores. You know, you got up, you did chores. What do you gotta do? You gotta chop some wood, you gotta haul some water. Maybe you have to melt some snow to do dishes. And, like, so much of the day was built around food because you'd make an elaborate breakfast, the best breakfast you could make, using all dry and canned goods, you know. And then you'd have to clean up. And then you do some chores, and then time for dinner. So you make the most delicious, elaborate dinner you can possibly make using only dry and canned goods. And then you gotta clean up. And then what do you gotta do at evening? Well, you read books out loud by gaslight. Just about exactly the same as now. Except now, we, order every meal on Grubhub and, watch TV for 10 to 22 hours per day. Of course, when I lived in Alaska, I was worried sometimes that I wasn't, contributing to society in any way. And now I do. I sometimes leave hurtful comments on people's YouTube videos.
His eyes the parents.
He's crying. He's crying right now. I am so sad. Don't look at me. Stop the camera. Stop it. Stop the video. Don't look at me.
I love my cat, but I'm not certain my cat really loves me, because when I go to feed my cat, I pour the food for him, and then he acts all affectionate. He's like, yeah, I love you. Thanks for being the one who feeds me. Then I put the food bag down on the ground, and then he rubs up on the food bag. He's like, yeah, food bag, I love you. Thanks for holding the food. I think if my cat were a human, he'd be the type to have with the pizza delivery guy.
Sometimes for fun, I'll read one-star reviews of things to see what people complain about. One that I was tickled by was someone reviewing the Messenger app for the phone, and she said, I friend a lot of people for my job, and this app allows men to call me at all hours of the night when I'm at home with my children. Boo, I don't like this app. 1 star. I was like, I think you're giving 1 star to men, not the app. Right?
Hey, you know, for a mermaid, every dream is a wet dream.
Aww.
Sometimes they are so relaxed, they're so confident they can get away from me that they just like take a little nap while I'm chasing them, or they stop to like bite a leaf. I wonder if they do that when real predators would chase them in the wild. Anyway, the brown one would bite the white one in the butt, and so I would sing this song for them while I would chase them around. Somebody's gonna hurt somebody before the night is through. Somebody's gonna come undone. There's nothing we can do. Good night, my somebody. Good night. You didn't have to stoop so low. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Spent all my years believing in you, but I just can't get no relief. Lord, somebody, can't anybody find me somebody to love? Now that you're big enough to run your own show, you're just somebody that I used to know.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello? Hello! I recently looked up the word hello in the dictionary because I've been saying it my whole life and I still don't know what it means. And according to the dictionary, if it means anything, which is doubtful, it means I see you. And now I'm really glad we've all agreed to use this nonsense euphemism because how creepy would that be if I just came on here? I see you. Or you're like on a first date. I see you. I see you too. What is this? Sight at first sight? Slow down, you just met. For the record, I cannot see you. But how are you all doing? Speak up. I heard there was this pandemic going around the globe. Yeah, it was really bad. Like people lost their jobs, weren't leaving their house ever, wondered if they were gonna die alone. So, can't say it disrupted my life at all. No, it hasn't made my life worse, but it's made it a teeny bit better. Now, when I go out of my way to avoid people on the street, it's not rude. It's rude not to. Oh, how the tables have turned, extroverts. By the way, social distancing doesn't work. You know how I know? Because the only people that actually stay 6 feet away from me are at the cemetery. They're all 6 feet under, and every single one of them is dead. I think the science is conclusive there. Wow, I'm honestly surprised that joke did so well, you guys. I am glad that the days are finally catching on here. I don't know what took us so long. It's like we have the automatic soap, automatic water, automatic dryer. We even have the automatic soap.
Host, please.
We are not going to touch any germs.
Mute Terry Gale.
Except for the roll of community toilet paper. That one thing that's going to touch your most private of parts that the nasty person before you had their nasty hand on. But then we wash our hands with soap and water. Like, I don't know about you guys, but if all goes well, your hand doesn't get dirty. But then the part of you that actually gets soiled, we're like, oh, just wipe it dry. Good enough. Doesn't make sense. Do you guys miss flying? No, you don't. You forgot how terrible it is. One time I was on the exit row of this flight, and the flight attendant asked me if I would do the honors of the exit door if it came to that. And I said sure. And he said I had to say yes or no, like it was a big deal or something. So I started to get nervous, like I'm at a job interview. But because I had grown quite attached to this leg room on this 13-hour flight, I said yes. I can't figure out the tray table, but you trust me with the emergency procedures because I said so. I did not feel safe for the next 13 hours. This other time, I went to Indonesia, and I was warned not to fly their sketchy airline called Lion, which makes sense if you think about it. I like to think that if I were to ask my airline, if you were an animal, which animal would you be? That they would pick something that at least has wings? And then I found out, and I'm not making this up, they have a sister airline called Lion Wings, which is like if Uber was called Bathtub Wheels. I don't think so. It's a good time to work on yourself. I'm working on food eating. Still an amateur food eater. Nothing makes me feel like more of a failure than when I accidentally bite the inside of my cheek. Do you ever do that? You just mentally calculate the number of times you've eaten food ever? Like 3 times a day for 37 years, still making rookie mistakes. I am bad at eating. My doctor actually prescribed me bitters for no appetite because bitters are supposed to stimulate the appetite. Makes sense. The only problem is I have no appetite for bitters either, especially even. If I'm struggling to consume delicious pancakes, doctor, bitter herbs is in no way the solution. You gotta stay positive these days. I got a happy light. It's supposed to simulate the light of the sun, and you stare at it, and it like resets your circadian something or other. So I tried it, and wow, nothing happier than staring into the sun right when I wake up. What a way to start the day off. Just stare at the sun. The day can only improve. So I was inspired to invent my own product, Happy Glasses. Yeah, you put them on and they stab you in the eyes. 3 low payments of $19.99. Well, thank you all for watching. You've been absolutely wonderful, probably. And bye.
James Manning, and I've got some things to tell you. I've got some confessions. You know, one time, I got a dog, right? And he's a little one-eyed dog, and I spilled some burrito juice on his head. When I was done, there's some left in there. Spilled on his head, and I feel bad because he looked up at me. He was like, "It's the one place I can't lick, man." And man. And I cleaned his head off, went around scratching him when I smelled it. It smelled like burritos. I had, man, I just turned my dog into a scratch and sniff. And maybe I gotta get a little sticker that says burrito, put it on his head, It's probably jokes like that are the reason I'm still single. One time when you could sit at the bar, I used to sit at the bar all the time and just talk to whoever random people would come along, and one time I was talking to this girl, and she was drunk. And I knew she was drunk because she was talking to me. And I was sitting at the bar, and I just kind of nudged her, and I'm like, "Hey, you should wake up. You should probably call yourself a cab and go home." And she was like, "You're so sweet, and kissed me." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you. Wow. Thank you. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to say, right? Yeah." That's why I'm much less of a Don Juan and much more of a Don Knotts. That's really how it is. But get her home safe, Andy. Well, yeah. Another weird thing happened to me at the bar is this girl with orange fingernails was sitting over there, and I said something. I don't remember what I said because I was drunk, and I was like, "Ugh." And she came over and started telling me, "Oh, we gotta get your Instagram and give me your phone. I'll put my name, put yours." And I was like, "Okay." And she gave me my phone back, and then she disappeared. And I was like, "What? Okay." And I gotta give her a phone, so I go looking for her. And the guy in the back, he's like, "Hey, we're close back here." Okay, and I gotta find the girl with the orange fingernails and the phone. And he's like, "You better give that to me, son. I'll keep it safe." I'm like, "Okay, here we go." And I walk back to the bar, and there she is. Hey, it's the lady with the pink fingernails. And, gotcha. And he hands it back, and I'm like, "All right, you got your phone back." "You're so great, thank you so much." And just starts rubbing on me. I'm like, "Okay," rubbing on me like a cat. "Oh, thank you, you're so nice, you're so sweet." Okay, wow. Yeah. I'm just not good at dating, really. Maybe I do. That's how I meet women at the bar. That's not good. I'm just not good at dating, For me, dating is like listening to a speech by Donald Trump. I don't do it very often. When I do, it's mostly just a waste of everyone's time. Yeah. I'm just not good at relationships because I actually had a relationship with Spotify. Me and Spotify are tight. She got all my playlists and everything, but one time my friend was like, "You gotta check out this song, dude." And it wasn't on Spotify, so I downloaded the free, I downloaded the Pandora, and then the next morning I woke up and I was like, "Oh man, I gotta get rid of this." I felt like I was cheating on Spotify. I pay for it, it was only the free trial, baby. It didn't mean anything, and Pandora don't know me like you do. You got all my playlists, baby. And yeah, I guess I also have a hard time because when I walk into a room, it feels like people are just staring at me. I'm a tall guy. I'd like to think it's because I'm handsome, but it's probably just because I'm freakishly tall and look like a Sasquatch, and people just stare at me like a bear eating garbage. It's like you look away, but you don't want to get any closer, right? That's kind of the vibe I get most of the time. Most people get big dick energy. Some people get big dick energy. I get sass energy. That's just how it goes. All right. Well, I think that's my time, everybody. You've been a great audience. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
All right. Time to remember some jokes for the laugh off. Let's do some music. Okay, first things first. Let's see where we're at. 70%. 70%. 70%. 20%. Okay. Let's remember some jokes. Laugh off. Laugh off. I don't think she spells it that way. Perfect. Okay, I know I had jokes. I have told jokes in the past. Jokes. I got jokes in here somewhere. Jokes. Jokes. Look at all these jokes. I don't remember any of my jokes. Oh yeah, a classic metal unicorn bit. Is that the Third Amendment to the Constitution? Yeah, that's the Third Amendment to the Constitution. Well, that's good. My apartment would look really bad as a Trump plaza. Okay, where are we at? 70%. 70%. 70%. 20%. Okay. Things are gonna open soon. I should probably work out. Ooh, that looks hard. That looks delicious. Ooh, eating session. That's a good name for an album. Perfect. Oh, I need jokes for the laugh off. I'll wing it. 70%. 70%.
Hey everybody, it's great to be back at the Laugh Off. I'm glad you all made it through the pandemic. I'm glad to be here. I did a lot of binge watching during the pandemic. I'm sure you all did. I watched a lot of ghost hunting shows. I pretty much convinced that ghost hunters are the worst hunters ever, aren't they? You know, like, aren't these the people that couldn't really make it in the real hunting world? You know, I mean, they don't even try to camouflage themselves or anything, you know? It's like, you think maybe they'd buy some ghost urine and spray it on their boots or something? I don't know. And, you know, inevitably, they're gonna, they never run into an animal spirit. That's one thing I noticed, you know. Inevitably, they're gonna run into an animal spirit, you know. And I'm wondering what the questions would be, you know, like, how did you die? Was it an arrow? Was it a shotgun? Was it a mountain lion? A bobcat? How are you going to explain that to the other deer in the locker room? Oh, I tell you. A lot of pandemic stuff going on. I have a 14-year-old son, and he recently, his voice changed, which is really cool. But I have to tell y'all, for like the first 20 minutes, I was convinced he was possessed, you know? It's like, I didn't know what the heck was going on. He's like, we need to play Lost Souls on the Xbox. Just like, whoa, dude. Hitting him with holy water. Yeah, and I'll tell you, man, having a 14-year-old is can be hazardous. Can be very hazardous. inevitably you encounter odors that threaten your environment, you know? I mean, it's pretty bad when you have to fight your washer to get the laundry into it. You have to fight the lid for like 10 minutes. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I had to send my washer and dryer to therapy. That's true, you know? The therapist is asking him, so, you want to tell me more about what happens after burrito night? How do you feel about that? Then there's that moment in every parent's life where you have to have courage and face down the washer, and it's like you're beamed into the middle of a sci-fi thriller. Ever have that happen to you? You open up your washer and you're just like, what the hell is that? Oh! All right. Just got my ass kicked by an odor, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to break out the fire extinguisher. So, there's a lot of controversy too recently over football team names. We're going through this again. I don't know if you noticed that. I had an idea about that. I think we should totally flip the script on football team names, kind of get away from the war connotation. Maybe have a team named the Humanitarians. Wouldn't that be cool? The sportscaster would be like, well, Bob, it looks like the Humanitarians are kicking the living shit out of the Cowboys today. Well, that's right, John. The Cowboys missed a lot of opportunities by not offering a hand up, and they missed opportunities on 2 field goals and a turnover. Well, that's right, Bob. Check out this video where number 46 from the Humanitarian delivers a life-saving medical alert bracelet to number 32 on the Cowboys. Then he follows that up with a short tolerance speech for the extra point, and that's been the difference in the game, Bob. That's right, John. I'm a straight white male, and caring about other people is not my jam, but I have to tell you, they're really taking it to the Cowboys today. That's my time, man. I'm James Blame. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your pandemic.
That was great.
Greetings, everybody. Now, I recently turned 40 years old. Even happened to me. I thought I was going to be young forever. Now, I was making a joke about turning 40 and immediately going out and getting a cane and doing a backpacking trip up Skinner's Butte. You know what happened to me literally the day after I was joking about that stuff? I tore an Achilles tendon. Doc's like, hey, Mike, with some physical therapy and time, pretty soon, you're only going to need a cane. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. Now I'm working my way up to a cane. Holy jinx, felt bad, man. Now, a lot of people are like, hey, Mike, that must have hurt a lot when you tore that Achilles tendon. It actually wasn't that bad. Shoot, the worst pain I had all week was from that pre-surgery COVID test.
Yeah.
The irony, huh? It was about 7 years ago when I tore an ACL. Apparently with middle age, I'm getting real good at tearing stuff. In fact, in order to pay for the medical bills, I'm teaching a class on it. If you want to learn the art of tearing a tendon or ligament, you got to take my master class. In fact, this month to save 10%, be sure to use the promo code deductible. I was paying $200, $300 a month. I still paid $5,000 for the ACL surgery. Well, the last 7 years, I've been injury-free, just passing out the free premiums. I'm like, forget this. It's time for another surgery. What should I tear this time? I'll be damned if Kaiser Permanente gets free cash from me. All right. So it wasn't long ago, a guy says, Mike, you're just starting to get old. Yeah, I found out that's true when I signed up to play baseball in the 35 and older league. I got there. First thing I heard was this guy say, man, it felt so good to wake up to morning wood. Come again? It's like you're still young enough. You take boners for granted. When you get to be my age, they're exciting. Can I just go back to the 25 and older league now? It's like, Mike, don't worry. As long as you keep beating your beats, you're going to be fine from ED. I'm like, beats? Oh, shit. I never liked beats. Now I got to make up for lost time. I mean beats with everything. Beat cereal, beat pizza, Being cake. Let's take a look at the beautiful crowd tonight. They said to increase my chances in the competition, I should include some audience plants. So I got some issues with commitment. You can call me Mr. In It for a little bit. My apartment is month to month. My car is a 2-year lease. I've never been married, but the only way I would be is if that was month to month too. Sure, I'd be down if I heard till death do us part, or at least until the next E-Web bill. So I'm single and vaccinated, both doses. When I hear a woman is single and vaccinated, naturally, I get an erection. You know what happens with most guys? As long as they've been eating their beets. I figured it's the same way with women, right? Don't they? When they hear a guy single and vaccinated, they get turned on. So I figured I should use that. On my Tinder profile pic now, it's just a picture of my vaccination card. No pictures of me, nothing about me. Just says Mike, single and vaccinated. Take a number. Well, happy Lent. It's that special time of the year when Catholics give up something for 40 days. I grew up Catholic. One time in high school, during Lent, I tried to give up masturbation. I was 17 years old trying to go 40 days without rubbing one out. Yeah, that didn't last. I'll tell you this much, though. It's the longest 48 hours I ever spent. All right. Being Catholic, some other strange things we had to experience, like that communion. Like, here's the body of Christ in this little wafer. Now eat it. Like, I don't know. It seems a little weird. And also, I don't think that's gluten-free. Father, you need to post nutritional information on the body of Christ. And you can't list Jesus as the only ingredient. Jesus want to be a little more flavorful. That's why I said let's sum up with something else, like chicken wings. That'd be great. Here you go, the body of Christ. Would you like ranch or blue cheese? Hey, let's keep it going. Put them in some pepperoni pizza. I'm telling you, kids would love it if church was a place called Chuck E. Jesus. All right, I gotta get going. I gotta eat my beets. I got a friend though who's got a quick question for y'all.
Hello, friends. I am Mike Lovin, the android. I have a question. Why is Mount Bachelor still single? Not one of those 3 sisters are interested in him. I know why those 3 sisters are fine being single. Because they're next to 3-finger Jack. Yeah, 3 fingers, 3. Okay. On that note, I will see myself out.
Hey there, I'm Emily with 2 E's, but it's pronounced like Emily with a Y. You can just call me Emily. During the pandemic, I realized that there's been one question that's been plaguing me for a really long time. So, with some spare time on my hands, I decided to delve into it and investigate the question that we're all dying to know. That is, how are you? To get into this, I welcome you to a pandemic day in my life. I live in one of the smallest apartments that you've ever seen. Well, that you're about to see. I start my day here in the bathroom. It's where I do all of my best thinking. You never know when inspiration will strike, so I keep a notepad in my shower just in case. You've already guessed? Yes, I do live alone. I know for a fact this apartment is meant for one person because the bathroom door doesn't have a lock on it. That's okay though. Thankfully I scored a pretty sweet deal with this apartment. By giving up a few basic amenities, I was able to knock so much money off of my rent. Next year, I'm thinking about asking them if they'll replace my carpet with ground from outside. No cleaning necessary. My favorite pandemic activity has been online shopping, but no matter where I am in my apartment when something gets delivered, I have to wait at least 30 seconds before I answer the door just so they don't think that I was standing right here, right when they knocked. This isn't a 90s sitcom. I've been spending so much time alone that I'm starting to think of my furniture as family members. I'm gonna be devastated when something breaks. I've been spending a lot of time with my couch. We're pretty tight. It's a great listener. So life has been pretty tough lately. I spend all my time alone and
think my social skills are really going downhill. Like, just the other day, I was at the grocery store and I went in to get a nice big whiff of this woman's hair, but she just wasn't interested, and it went so poorly. So I don't know. I've been thinking. I think people are just feeling guilty about the wrong things these days. You know, my friend said that her guilty pleasure during the pandemic has been binge watching The Bachelor. But if that's something you're supposed to feel guilty about, then how am I supposed to feel about the 5-pound bag of Skittles that I ate an entire day? Most days, I tend not to spend too much time in my my kitchenette, because if I cook anything with more than 3 ingredients, I'll have to start stacking pans on the floor.
Yeah.
This is marketed as a kitchenette because there's no stove or oven. When I first moved out here, the idea of living somewhere without a stove or an oven was ludicrous. But then I saw housing prices, I really changed my tune. If giving up the ability to burn pizza is what it takes to live on a grad student stipend, then that's what I'll do. I also don't really have a living room. Well, I guess I do. I have one room, and that's where I do my living, and also my sleeping, and also my eating. I'm just really glad that there's a door for the bathroom. When I first moved into this apartment, my friend was so excited for me because this is the first time I lived anywhere on my own after a slew of terrible roommates. And so to cheer me up about how small it is here, she told me it'll be exciting, it'll be an adventure, it'll be like camping in a storage unit. If I wanted to camp in a storage unit, I would be an undervalued set of furniture, okay? To keep myself busy, I've been cultivating my geriatric hobbies. I've started eating dates, going on leisurely strolls in my neighborhood, and keeping caramel lozenges at the bottom of my purse. I know what you're thinking, and yes, people do tell me I'm mature for my age. In an effort to retain my status as a lifelong learner, I decided that it's time to get a library card. So one day, I gave them a call and I said, "1 library card, please." But they were just so busy and so overrun with people looking for copies of AOL for Dummies that they said they'd call me back. And a month later, I realized that I've been ghosted by the public library. With all this detail about a day in my life, I think it's pretty clear to see that the answer to my question is, I'm fine. How are you?
Hey everybody, thank you. How's it going? This is totally weird, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
I don't know why that
Any of you people out there ever have an uncle with a funny nickname? You know, like Drunkle or
Oh, can't hear it all.
something like that? I had an uncle when we were growing up, and we used to call him Uncle Tank Top. He never wore tank tops, but he was a wife beater.
Ooh.
Speaking of uncles, though, in the quarantine, as we all did, got kind of bored. Started thinking about my family lineage, so I went to one of those DNA websites, you know, where you can find out your family tree, where you came from. I was looking at my tree, and as it goes up and up and up, found out that a couple of my cousins actually procreated. That had me kind of concerned. I didn't know what to think about that, but then as I'm looking around, I look back at the web browser. The website I was at was actually called Ancestry.com, so I was at the wrong site. So I just abandoned that whole idea. Started focusing my time on sloths.
How long till it
You
gets
guys
here?
like sloths? I
Um,
love sloths.
It's about 45 minutes, really weird.
And the more time
Okay.
you say the word sloth, the cooler it is. So anyway, here's some facts about sloths. See, sloths sounds cool. Sloths are the slowest animal on the entire planet, and they not only have sex, but they have birth hanging upside down from a tree. I don't know about you, I think that's pretty awesome. It's hanging and banging, popping out kids. So I want to get a pet sloth. And I was wondering what would happen if you gave a sloth meth. So you've heard of meth gators, you heard of the cocaine hippos. What would happen if you gave a sloth some meth? Do you think that he would just act like a regular animal? Or would he maybe just really slowly try to steal my catalytic converter? It could go either way. But see what else. I'm getting older, turned 52 last year, so I'm officially not older anymore. I'm just old. I've been having to go to the doctor more for like maintenance purposes, blood pressure, stuff like that. And now I got to get the dreaded finger test. It sucks, but it's got to be done. So now every time I'm at a regular doctor's appointment, I just find myself sitting there staring at my doctor's hands and his fingers. His fingers are so big. So I'm just a little bit worried about that. My health care is not the greatest. I know we're all worried about that and hope that we don't have to pay an arm and a leg for health care. I'm not even going to go there. But found out and thought about it. You can't have health care without THC. Think about it, write it down, heard about it. And speaking of THC, I love it. And I was in the, what do they call it, pot store? Yeah, I was in the pot store the other day, and there was like 3 or 4 people in there, and I was surprised to see that they didn't have the tape on the ground, every 6 feet to keep everybody socially distant. And I started looking around more, and I realized that everybody was already super spaced out. So, then the phone rings. Employees are incredible. The lady answers it. Pot store. And this dude on the other end was a super loud talker. You could totally hear him. He's like, "Yeah, I was wondering how much your $45 ounces were." She goes, "Let me check." It was like, "They're $45 today." And he's like, "Cool, I'll be down." So that was kind of funny. And I'm glad marijuana is legal. That's awesome. I can grow my own at home. Had a good crop last year. I don't know if you guys like plants. I'm a horticulture enthusiast now. But when you're growing plants, you got to pay a lot of attention to them. You got to hang out. You got to nurture them. I hung out with them. I talked to them, gave them positive reinforcement. I fed them, gave them their nutrients, all that stuff. And as I got to know them, I found out that one of them was actually a hermaphrodite, which is cool with me. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever. But I also found out that the hermaphrodite plants, they like to be referred to as transplants.
Oh.
That's close enough to my time. Thanks for watching. Vote for me. My name's Terry Guile, and yours is.
All right. Excellent job, every comedian. We're working on getting the view back so you'll be able to see everybody. Thank you, Kiki, for doing that. So give it up, first of all, for Kiki for putting that all together. Woo!
Yeah.
Oh. Good job, Kiki.
And to all of the amazing comedians with all of the wonderful uses of technology and the space that you were in and more creative opportunities to use different kinds of.
I think.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. First of all, I'm going to bring up, as if there's a stage here and they're coming up to me. I'm going to introduce each of the comedians to remind you name and face. I don't believe we have all the comedians here, but so when I call your name, why don't you just do something wild and make a noise so that you show up on everybody's screen. So our first comedian was Magdalena. Hi. There she is. Give it up for Magdalena. Woo. And then we have Marcus. Is Marcus in the room?
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Marcus. Yeah. And Bethany. I don't think Bethany is here. Bethany, are you here? Bethany. Yeah. And Bethany. And then we had Isaac. Isaac. Hey, and then we had Abby. Is Abby in the room still? Abby?
Yeah, I'm just really bad at tech things. Here's me.
There you go. Okay, we do the best we can, right? And then there was James Manning. Hey. And then we had Max, who is not here because he's working. Give it up for Max. Yay, Max. And then we had James Blame.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
And then we had Mike Schwab. And then we had Emily.
Yeah.
Jackson. And last but not least, we have Terry Guile.
I'm here.
Terry,
I don't know if you
there
can
he
hear
is. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. So, what's going to happen now is I am going to wait. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to introduce the 2019 winner of the Eugene Springfield Laff Off, making him the official funniest person in Eugene, Springfield, Cottage Grove, Coburg, Junction City metropolitan area. Our first ever Laff Off winner to serve for 2 years because of the pandemic. So just like Slagata Slime Shine, we have two-year winners here. And Rudy Tiberzi is going to entertain you, and maybe his cats will entertain you too, because they're very entertaining, while the judges and I are on the chat room trying to figure out our winners, which we will be crowning as soon as we make that decision and Rudy is done. Give it up for Rudy.
Hey, Rudy. Woo! Hey, right on. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, thanks for having me, Leanne. Thanks for putting this on. I have to warn you right now, I haven't done comedy in 13 months. Sorry. And yeah, bear with me. If you have any questions or if you don't want to laugh, please ask. Yeah, no, I don't know. Comedy is weird. Comedy is hard. I feel like comedy is kind of for people who don't know how to make friends, you know, but instead of asking questions like, what's your favorite color? You're like, oh, I see you're a drunk too. I'm 37 right now, but I have the bank account of a much younger man. I'm sure someone has written that joke somewhere. I've just never heard it. I am getting a little older, not too much older. One way I can tell is through my hangovers. Hangovers are just the worst when you're in your late 30s. Hangovers to me, oh, this is Foxy. Foxy likes my voice. Everyone want to say hi to Foxy? Do we have any questions for Foxy?
What pretty girl.
Short for Fox Club. He's a good boy. Foxy is a good boy. He may identify as a girl. He hasn't told me. I don't know. But he's lovely. He's wonderful. I had a first today actually with Foxy. Like not long before I was on this show, I spilled a ton of hand sanitizer all over my shirt. So it just was this giant hand sanitizer all over my shirt. I'm like, okay, great, nice. Looks like something else. So yeah, where are we? I don't know. The pandemic's coming to a close, right? But it doesn't stop me from dreaming big. You guys have big dreams? Who has big dreams here? Anybody? You still got your, you know, the way I see it is little dreams are just called plans. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm hungry. I wish I had a sandwich. I could get a sandwich. You know, that's a little dream turning into a plan. So yeah, I was not sure how well reintegrating back into society was going to go, kind of like Leanne was saying. You know, these cats don't respond very well to me telling them no to things, but they do respond very well to me growling at them. So now that works well with animals, but I don't think it's going to work very well with the lady at the grocery store. You know what I mean? How much is this honeydew melon? And then she poops in the bathtub. People say that you start to look like the 5 people you hang out with the most. That's why I have started to look like my mom and 4 cats. Actually, the only friend I've seen on a regular basis this year doubled as my dentist. That's what I call a friend with benefits. Do you know what I'm saying? I used to have friends who were like bartenders and fire jugglers, and now I know people who are dentists and ER doctors. Yeah, I love a good Zoom show because it's always fun when table talk is just as loud as the comedian. You know what I'm saying? What else? What do we got? Quarantine has lasted more than a year, making it my officially longest relationship ever. No? All right. Yeah. So what do we say, Leanne? Can we stop? Or do you guys want to see what food I give my cats? I tell you what, this is my.
Let's not stop yet. We can't come to a decision. Keep going.
Oh, you can't. Oh my God. So who goes to the Healthy Pet? Anyone go to the Healthy Pet in Eugene? No, but not one cheer for the Healthy Pet. Nobody's been to support your local businesses. Oh my goodness. Well, the things that bring me joy at this point in my life are pun-based cat foods, and that's why I spend far too much food on my cats, or far too much money on my cat's food, because this one is all based on TV show game shows. So this one is called Meal of Fortune. There we go, Meal of Fortune. This one, I like this one. This one is called Name Dat Tuna. There's another one. Let's see, what else do we got? Oh, this one is probably one of my favorites. The Slice is Right. And then we got, what else do we got? Foxy, which one do you like? Does he like Let's Make a Meal? Or we got Family Food. Now I'm just gonna show you things in my kitchen. It's not a kitchenette, thankfully. Do you guys have any questions for Foxy? Do you have any questions for Foxy?
How'd you get so good looking?
Foxy,
Yeah.
He was born at the foot of my bed. A neighbor cat actually gave birth to these cats in my bedroom. So they were meant to live here. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. All right. What else? Did I write any more jokes? Oh my! Seriously, I haven't done comedy in more than a year. So
Jokes
I'm just
from
like,
Korea.
ask me questions. I was a teacher for 8 years in Asia. I'm an academic advisor. Do you know what class? Do you need to know what classes you're gonna take? No, nobody, nothing. Okay.
Tell us about Korea.
Korea. Oh my gosh, Korea was a beautiful place. I lived there. Anyone ever been to Korea? Anyone in the audience been to Korea?
Yes, I have.
Nice.
Yes.
Melody's been. Yeah, it's great. What do you think of when you think of Korea?
I think of the delicious food.
So good, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone. The kimchi was a big deal. Sundubu jjigae, kimchi jjigae. Korea was awesome. Yeah, I lived there. If you've ever been to Asia, people are very impressed when you can use chopsticks well. So I lived there for 8 years, and at the end, I was still hearing like, "Oh, you can use chopsticks very well," and I'm like, I like eating. I gotta eat. So yeah, I don't know. Y'all are very, very polite. So I've ventured into some online things. It's mostly just cat content on TikTok. But one time a lady, she just wrote on their comment, she goes, "I'm sorry, but this is not funny at all." And I liked how polite and direct that heckle was. You know, just polite. And I want more hecklers to take a page out of that lady's book. They're like, "Hey, excuse me, I'm just going to interrupt for a moment, but you could really work on your stage presence." Oh. Thanks. Yeah.
Rudy, I think we can come in whenever you're ready, but you can keep going. You're
perfect. I was swimming in the deep end, so
I didn't want to keep you anymore.
no, I appreciate it. Keep your eyes peeled for Just Comedy. Keep your eyes peeled for all the different live comedy events that are going to come back to Eugene. Hopefully, we don't know exactly when. I think everyone here wants to take things slower and safer. So please have patience, bear with us. It takes a long time for us to get back on our feet, and support the arts however you can. Support Green Hill. Go to the Healthy Pet, for crying out loud. And Green Hill's awesome. Go out there when you can. So love you all. Love Eugene. Love the community. Thanks for doing this, Leanne. Thanks everybody.
Great job.
Everybody.
Bye, Rudy.
That was awesome, Rudy. It is so hard to do stand up, especially beyond what you have prepared, because the comedians were so good. I mean, we
Yeah.
were all so impressed with everybody, and that's why we were having such a difficult time deciding. Okay, so we're choosing the top 3 tonight, and there are prizes, and I will get those prizes to you in some manner, socially distanced mask, and I will make you do a dance of some kind. I think that might be appropriate. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Woo! Okay, so if you get a prize that doesn't suit you, you can trade with somebody. I got these prizes 2 years ago, and I've been keeping them in my garage. And I'm lucky because I offer to people who play match game that they can have anything out of my garage, and nobody has come and taken them yet. Okay, in 3rd place tonight, who is unfortunately not here with us because he's working, is Max Brockman.
Yay, Max.
I don't know if Max has a dog or a cat, but I am going to give to Max the cat version from Positive Wellness Veterinary Care. It's a really lovely collection of gifts, but it also has half-price cat visit, which is an amazing prize. This is one of my 2 vets, and they are wonderful people, and they do chiropractic there too. So give it up for Max one more time. And we
Yay,
can tell him,
Max.
we can tell him that we gave him. All right. So our
100%.
second place winner, who, if our first place winner like falls off a cliff, accidentally, or walks in front of a bus, our second place winner will be the reigning funniest person in Eugene, should anything accidentally happen to our winner. In second place, Magdalena Dice.
Yay, Magdalena.
Nice.
Thank you guys so much. That's so sweet.
You
Yay.
get
All right.
You get one of these 2 for a dog. Do you have a dog or a cat, Magdalena?
I don't. I'm petless at the moment, except for a squirrel.
Okay, well, you
Good
can
luck.
do whatever you want with this. Give it to a friend who whatever
Yeah,
you want
thank
to do
you so
that.
much.
Take it to Green Hill Humane Society and share it with some of the animals there. But don't just show up. You must make an appointment to go to Green Hill Humane Society until we get past this. Okay. Like I said, this was really, really tough to choose even the top 3. There were so many people that we were talking about. So you all did an amazing job. And I just want to say, I know how hard it is to be funny on Zoom, and the creativity that everybody showed tonight just blew us away. Don't make me cry. I don't get to talk to anybody or emote, so I may just end up bawling here in a minute. And the funniest person in Eugene, Springfield, Cottage Grove, Junction City, Veneta metropolitan area, who will go home with a $50 gift certificate from Jerry's Home Improvement and the official crown as the funniest person in, what it is. It's a whole lot. Are we ready?
Yes.
Mike Schwab! Would you like to say something funny, Mike? No pressure.
Put yourself.
Something funny.
But my Achilles heel is getting better, but it still sucks.
It's getting better. Oh, just wait. You're just a young child. I want to thank all of our judges tonight for being here early and doing this, all of our comedians for all the hard work you put into this, and once again, Kiki Prossman for putting this together and showing it and being the backup person in case everything went wrong on my end.
Good job, Kiki.
Yes, great job.
Yes,
Kiki.
excellent.
And thanks to the audience. Please remind your friends and family who couldn't be here that this is on videotape. I will post it. It'll take a long time because this is a fairly long recording, but that they are welcome to watch it. And we want to encourage everybody who does watch it to make a donation to Green Hill Humane Society, because that's why we do this. It's not just for the funny. It is also for the animals. So thank you for being here at the 25th anniversary Eugene Laff Off. We appreciate all of you.
Thank you.
Bye.